Hello and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing Weekly Work Session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of GetOiling, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everyone. Glad you're here today.
We are. We also have the incredible Julie and Colin from our team. What's up, you guys?
Hello.
Hello.
As you're coming in, let us know where in the world you are and how things are going for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about a new feature inside of GetOiling, which allows you to replace yet another service that you may or may not be using. Either way, we are harnessing the power of artificial intelligence to save us time and be more effective. And today, we're going to talk about what is now integrated in your GetOiling system to allow you to do just that. So head on over into the chat. We are so excited to see who's here today and to say hello to you. So come on in, introduce yourself, and tell us, have you been using AI? Maybe you've been using ChatGPT, for instance. Have you been using AI to do any of your writing or ideating for your business? And what does that look like for you? Are you asking AI about ideas for class topics, or are you using AI to write your blog post? What does that look like for you? I see Jackie's already using it, and I'm excited to hear how you're doing that. Fantastic. So we've got some folks who this is kind of new. Don't worry, no problem if this is brand new to you. Do know that we have another training that we did recently using ChatGPT, and a lot of what we shared as sort of examples that you can do to use ChatGPT as a Young Living brand partner, you're going to be able to do now just inside of your GetOiling system. You don't have to worry about blackout times, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because that's true with ChatGPT. Greg just popped that into the chat, and of course we'll make sure to include it in the description. So welcome, you guys. Excited to have you here. I have some slides to share with you, so we are going to pop out a video and get into those, but then we will come back out and we will actually walk through how this stuff works in your GetOiling system so that you know how to confidently go about using this. So let me get into this and share it with you, and we will get the show on the road. All right, let's get this guy full screen. All right, so today, as promised, we are talking about how you can power your copywriting, which, if you don't know what the word here, copywriting, means, we're talking about the words that you use on your website and in your marketing. So we're going to talk about how you can create your business language using AI. So if you're somebody who is simply wanting to be more efficient in how you spend your time, or maybe you're just kind of new to all this and you would like for some kind of framework. How many of you guys work a little better if somebody can give you an example first, right? Maybe you need to write an email about XYZ thing, but if somebody could just give you, like, write me an example of this, and then you can make it your own. Raise your hand for me. Is that you? Do you work better that way, when you have some kind of real functional example of a thing that you can use as a jumping off point? That is the most powerful thing about all of this, where using AI is concerned for your business. It gives you the correct framework to start from. So I'm so excited to share this with you today, and to share with you that this is now integrated into your GetOiling system. So what we'll talk about here today, of course, is this new Write with AI feature that's included in your GetOiling system. We'll give you some suggested uses, some very important best practices that you're going to want to be clear on, how you can actually go about using it in your GetOiling system. And then, of course, as always, we have our live help and Q&A. So if you did come here today looking for help or support, we are here for you. This is a live session that we run every single Thursday at noon Eastern time for all brand partners. And if you need help, we are here for you. So if you have a question that has, even if it has nothing to do with today's topic, feel free to put that into the Q&A here on Zoom. And of course, if you watch this as a recording, you can join one of these live calls by going to getoiling.com/weekly work session. You'll get an invite, the Zoom link, and you'll always know what's coming up and be the first to get any resources that we share on these calls. And if you want one-on-one help on a call like this one, you can go to getoiling.com/website review. Even if you don't have a website up yet with us, you can ask questions. We can discuss strategy, whatever that looks like. We can work together really in a live setting. So if you need a little bit of hand holding, or if you want some feedback on what you're up to, you can go to this link and you can get access to a spot to come on an upcoming call just like this one for us to work together live. And if you need more help than that, if you want someone to maybe do some of this work for you, you can go to getoiling.com/concierge to learn about our incredible qualified team to help you with any type of thing you're working on with creating the website you want as a Young Living brand partner. Now, maybe just a quick show of hands here. Let me know, have you seen our ChatGPT training? A couple weeks ago, we actually did a dedicated training on how Young Living brand partners can use ChatGPT. I see a lot of us did. Awesome. Don't worry. That is, as I mentioned before, Greg linked that in the comments. We'll link it in the description on the replay. ChatGPT is a phenomenal tool, both awesome and a little frightening in its capacity. But it really does, I think, represent the future of where we're headed with how we go about generating content. So if it's not something that you've begun to familiarize yourself with, this AI technology, it is something that you want to have some base level, at least just super base level familiarity with as someone who is creating an online presence to grow your business, right? If you have a brand and a business, this is something that you're going to want to know just a little bit about. You don't have to be an expert. You just want to know, well, basically what I'm going to share with you today and how you could use it in your GetOiling system. So make sure that you check this one out if you haven't already. So we now, as mentioned before, we have a tool inside your GetOiling account that functions really similarly to ChatGPT. But the cool thing is it already knows that you're a Young Living brand partner. So when you ask it to do something, it's doing it with that already in mind. That's pretty cool, right? We'll show you some of the ways that this actually shows up here in just a bit. But let's talk about some ways that you can go about using this Write with AI tool. First, really highly recommend that you just start with ideation, coming up with ideas, plans, strategies, and things that you will eventually do, right? So these are some ideas. It's not exhaustive by any means. But of course, if you want to come up with ideas for blog posts, you can do that. Ideas for lead magnets, subject lines, or messages for your campaigns, your lesson titles in a course, if you're creating a course, promotional ideas for a course. Or maybe you're wanting to send a message out to leads who have gone inactive, or maybe customers, Young Living customers who have gone inactive. You can ask for ideas. What would I say? What can I say to send a message to someone who has gone inactive, right? And you can get some really great ideas from this tool. So once you know what you want to create, you can have this tool do the writing for you, which is so cool and so exciting. So you can use this Write with AI tool to create campaigns, saved replies, the texts and emails that go into those, right? So if you want to have a text that you send out on a regular basis, maybe this is a text that you'll send out to anyone who gets started with you, you can have it write the copy for that, pop it into a saved reply, and now you had a robot write the tool that you'll use every week in your business, right? You can do something similar for emails there as well to build out campaigns, or even just send a one-off email or text message. And of course, those subject lines. Subject lines are something that for email in particular, if you really want to make sure that you're getting a great open rate on your emails when you're sending things out, have this suggest subject lines for you. Because it's AI, it may know a little bit more than you or even I do about the kinds of headlines that you can write, subject lines you can use in your emails to increase your open rates. Blog posts, similarly, this is probably my favorite way to go about creating this kind of content. As business owners with an online presence, having published content is really, really important, especially if you ever want to rank high in the search engines for the different terms that your ideal people are searching for, right? So if you want to be somebody who shows up when they ask Google or their favorite search engine about something that they care about, if you're a person who talks about that thing, we want them to find you first, right? So you have to have content to get that done. And for your blog posts, they can take quite a while to create. You want to have something in the neighborhood of 1,000 words. That takes time. If you're not a naturally gifted writer, if you don't love writing, gosh, this is such a great way to save yourself a boatload of time. So you can have it help you create the title for a blog post, the actual content of a blog post. And after you've created the content of the blog post with this tool, you can ask it to give you SEO settings. And so this would be like your meta description, for instance, that you would use, which is just so stinking cool. If you're doing events to promote Young Living or just to grow your following and your list of leads, you can have it help you write event descriptions and titles. You can create website copy with this. If you don't know what to say on your website, you can tell it to come up with something for you for a specific part of your website, maybe specific pages, your home page, about page, maybe landing pages where you're offering a lead magnet, sales pages where you're selling your course or program. And then in the creation of courses and programs, you can have it write your descriptions for your vault, for your classes, lesson copy, prompts, lesson titles. The list is endless of what you can do with this. But first, of course, you do have to be clear on what it is that you want. So let's get into some best practices with this. And then we'll actually get into exploring using this and what that looks like. So first and foremost, understand that while AI is phenomenally intelligent, it is not always 100% correct. And in the context of you as a Young Living brand partner, it does not know how to write Young Living compliant content. So if you ask it to please write me a 1,000-word blog post from the perspective of a 40-year-old woman who has overcome Hashimoto's, who is sharing the correlation between lack of sleep and weight gain, what you may find is that it writes you a glorious article, but then it starts actually recommending some Young Living products and talks about Young Living specifically. Well, there are some hot words in there that are not going to be compliant for you to use alongside the suggestion of using Young Living products, right? So you are going to want to go through and read this, especially for Young Living compliant language, right? You may need to go out and remove the mention of Young Living or the mention of Young Living products if you're wanting to focus on a specific condition, like I just mentioned Hashimoto's, right? Or any of the hot words that you might want to be avoiding as a brand partner. Another reason why you want to treat this as a framework when it produces copy for you is that while it can do a really good job to fit within the parameters that you ask for, it still isn't going to necessarily sound like you. So use this as a jumping off point and really read through it and ask yourself if this sounds like something you would write. If it doesn't, you may want to make some adjustments. Maybe, your own natural speaking style or little things that you say or do, right? So make sure that you're using it as a jumping off point and not as a 100% done for you situation. So you can also, and this is such a cool thing you can do, you can reference work that you've already created. So let's just say that you have maybe worked with your AI or you've written something yourself and you've got blog post content. You can reference that. So you can say, write a subject line for this blog post, and then you paste the blog post and it'll write you a great subject line. You could say, write an email to my subscribers, encouraging them to click the link to open this blog post and read it. And then you paste the blog post, right? And so it can give you that email copy. So that's essentially what you're going to do is you're going to copy and paste that content that you're referencing. And of course, ask for whatever it is that you're asking for. And then of course you want to rewrite, or actually in this case, you would ask it, here's an idea. If you have asked it to write a blog post to, maybe using the same parameters that I discussed earlier, maybe it was a little too dry. Maybe the language was not quite fun enough. So you can actually ask it to rewrite this blog post in the voice of, right? And you could give it some other, parameter there. You could say, rewrite this in a happy, a happier tone or something like that. You can play around with this stuff. So rewrite the stuff that's already written if you kind of like what's there and you want to kind of modify it, right? Now, another thing that you're going to want to make sure you're doing, and this is true with using AI in general, you want to make sure that you're really clear on what you're asking for. So be clear on things like the voice, like is this in the voice of, like I mentioned before, a 40-year-old woman who's overcome Hashimoto's, who educates other women in their 40s on how to find more balance in their lives. Be clear on your tone. Is this someone who is serious, studious, happy, bubbly, right? And then of course, give it parameters like word count, right? So write a blog post greater than 1,000 words from the perspective of, and I've given you a couple of examples there. in the voice of, and you can have fun with this. You could have this in the voice of a pirate or a leprechaun. You could get really fun with this. And I encourage you to actually have some fun with it and play around with it so that you can understand how it creates the outputs based on what you're asking, so that you can really feel more confident in getting the right parameters in place so you produce the results that you want. You can also make sure that you're clear on what group it's addressing, right? So if this is written for homeschool moms, mention that, right? If this is written for a homeschool mom, then it's going to automatically take that into account. And then if you want to offer something specifically at the end. So again, in a blog post, as an example, you would say, write a blog post greater than 1,000 words in the voice of this person or from the perspective of this person that is covering this topic or these points, maybe these keywords. And at the end, offer a consult to help them with whatever. Or you say, I offer the lead magnet, or offer my guide that gives you 3 steps to better sleep tonight, or something like that, right? So you can tell it to offer that at the end. So it's actually transitioning to that copy so you can get that lead. You could do this similarly in an email where you're maybe sending them to a link to a sales page at the end of an email. Really so much you can do with this. And then again, and this is particularly important where we're talking about your website copy and your blog posts, you can ask it to include keywords if you've done some keyword research. And of course, if you're not familiar with that, we do have some training on SEO that is on our channel if you are ready to go down that route. If you're just getting started with all this, don't worry about it. Just have some fun, communicate with your customers, and just have fun integrating this as you grow. So let's go and see this in action in our system, show you all of the different ways that you can actually go and start using AI with GetOiling. All right, let me hop over here to our Jane account, share my screen with you, and we'll go to a couple of spots where you can actually see how to get this done. So I think I can make my screen just a bit bigger here. Okay, so right with AI, you can actually see right here on your dashboard, but you'll also find this in several other places in your GetOiling system. So right with AI is something you can do from right here. So if you're actually just looking for some ideas, so if you are, maybe you're gonna say, come up with 5, actually we'll do quarter. Let's plan our events quarterly, right? So come up with 3 live event ideas for, let me see, come up with 3 live event ideas for in-person events for busy moms that I can host in my home this year to promote Young Living. What a run-on sentence. Let's see what it comes up with though. So it's going to write with AI, and it's going to give you some ideas as soon as it's done. You do have to give it just a couple of minutes. Again, if you've seen ChatGPT, it's kind of a similar thing. You can see it start like writing in real time, whereas here it's just going to produce the idea for you. So this is one example. So here we go. Self-care DIY workshop, healthy cooking class, and a mom's night out. There you go. And check this out. Plan a fun, relaxing evening for busy moms to unwind and connect with each other. Set up a spa night with Young Living essential oils, where attendees can make their own face masks and indulge in diffused essential oils. You can also offer yoga or meditation class, where attendees can learn how to incorporate essential oils into their practice. Provide snacks and beverages infused with essential oils, and encourage attendees to bring their favorite Young Living products to share with each other. Pretty cool, right? Look, it's just giving you ideas. This includes cooking using Young Living oils, right? So you can use these. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this to clipboard. Let's come up with titles for these. And we're going to say, so write a compelling event name for each of the following workshops or events. And I'm going to paste. We're going to go to write, and it's going to give us event names. And then we can go straight over to our events. Here we go. Recharge and Renew, a self-care DIY workshop for busy moms. Now, at this point, I would actually recommend that you maybe open up a separate tab or screen where you have like a notepad that you can jot some of this stuff down on, because we are referencing some of the things that it's coming up for us. So I'm opening, and you can't see this, but I'm opening my notes app here just so I can paste in what they've already given us with the ideas. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and copy to my clipboard these titles. There we go. And now I'm going to go over to events right down here. And we're going to create a new event. And let's go use the event name that it just gave us. So the first one is Recharge and Renew, a self-care workshop for busy moms. So I'm going to paste this here. And I'm going to, well, let me remove these quotes here. Perfect. Event description. Now check this out. Write with AI is right here in the editor. Anywhere you go in GetOiling, you're going to see Write with AI show up right here. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to my notes and I'm going to grab that first one. And I'm going to copy it and I'm going to come over here and ask, write an event description for this event that encourages them to sign up. We'll say visitors. Okay. So now we're going to ask it to come up with a description for us. And as soon as it's done, this is a really cool thing. We can actually send it straight to the editor. Add to editor. Oh, what did I do? I didn't do that right. Let me try that one more time. For whatever reason, I didn't get all of that text there into that field. Huh. There might be a bug, Craig.
It looks like the paragraph is kind of cut off in the first one, maybe. I mean, well, even in the description, maybe that's part of it.
Oh, right.
Bigger. That might be throwing it off.
Take home their creations. Here we go. Oh, I see what we're doing here. So this isn't really, we don't need this. There we go. So this hands-on workshop is perfect for anyone looking to prioritize their self-care, juggling demands. Perfect. All right, so we do that. Of course, we want to put in our information. Maybe this is going to be on the 15th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. and it will end on the 15th at 8 p.m. There we go. We will, obviously you set this up however you want to set it up. Let me come back over here. We do need to create a campaign for this. Typically, you're going to want to have created a campaign ahead of time, but let's just go ahead and create the event. But maybe, yeah, we do want to create a campaign so that we're automatically welcoming anyone who signs up. So let's go over to campaigns. We'll go to create, and this is going to be for self-care workshop. Welcome. Great. We'll create a campaign here. And now we get to add our message. And of course, we can use Write with AI to create this message. So I'm going to go back over to my notes and copy this. And we're going to say, write an email welcoming a registrant to this event and encourage them to respond with what they are most excited to learn about. Also encourage them to invite a friend. Paste. And that was my issue. I didn't actually paste the whole thing. So I gave it some incomplete information. That's why it was weird before. I did notice that. Okay, so we hit write. And then this is a really cool thing that I want to show you here, because now we're actually writing a message. And there are two components of a message that's going to go out if this is going to be an email, right? So it actually gave us a subject line. Fabulous. So I was going to say you could actually copy the body here and then ask it to write a subject line, but it's already given it to us. So we're going to add this to the editor. And we want to obviously put this subject line up top. So we'll copy that, paste it up here. And of course, here, we want to change registrant to contact first name. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got that. Obviously, you may want to swap out some of what's here. Maybe you want to talk about Young Living in the email. Maybe you don't. I'm going to change this to my first name. There we go. We're going to add that message, and then we can actually go back to our event and attach this campaign, and you're ready to start promoting. You might want to create an image, of course, but that's, you know, something that you can do. So let's go back to, oops, not blog posts. We want to go to events. There we go, recharge and renew. I'm going to go to edit, and let's go and attach that campaign so that we can welcome people who register. So the campaign is going to be, what did I name that campaign? Anyway, we find the campaign from in here, we attach it. And of course, then you have your campaign completed and your whole event here is completed. And this takes just a couple of minutes because you're using AI. So let's go back to our dashboard and look at another really awesome use case for this. How many of you guys have a lead generating funnel up on your website? You pop your hand up. Do you have maybe a lead magnet that you've created that you're offering to folks? Well, if you don't yet, first, I definitely recommend that you check out our training on this. If you go to getoiling.com/getleads, there's a mini course there that'll help you get it done in an afternoon, setting up a whole lead generating funnel, but maybe you want to get some ideas for lead magnets. So let's go to Write with AI and get some ideas. So how about give me some lead magnet ideas for moms in their 30s who are homeschooling kids and looking for more balance in their lives. From the perspective, and this is where you talk about you, of, let's see, from the perspective of a fellow mom with who homeschools and is a wellness coach. So let's see some ideas for lead magnets. And then once you find one that you love, you can actually have it create one for you. And then you can actually go and create, even using the built-in Canva button and GetOiling, you can create a PDF in Canva. Here we go. 5 secrets to achieving work-life balance as a homeschooling mom. Healthy eating for busy homeschool moms. Self-care tips for homeschooling moms. 10 essential oils for homeschooling moms. Homeschooling mom's guide to creating a daily wellness routine. Let's use this one. Okay, I'm going to copy that. Please create a guide for the following. I'm going to paste this. We're going to say this is the title. And this would be a step-by-step guide. Okay, that provides moms with a framework to create their own daily wellness routine. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to ask it to create this. And then once we have this, we can actually go and make something. And then, of course, you can still go back to Write with AI here. Maybe in this case, you want to go to campaigns and you want to write an email that's welcoming someone into your orbit after they have opted in to get this guide. we could actually ask this after we've created this. If we wanted to create a campaign, we could actually say, what are some of the things that we could talk about in a campaign for a woman who's just opted in to get this guide, and I want to move her toward getting on a call with me. We can ask this stuff. We can create the stuff here. And then of course, if you are building something in your GetOiling system, wherever you would be inserting that copy, you've got this right with AI tool right there on the page. So you can pop it right in exactly where it needs to be. Pretty cool, right? So these are just, again, a few of the things that you can do. There's so much more you can do with this. So I am really interested to see if you guys have any questions. If you have if you have an idea that you want to try to figure out, we could do that right here, right now on our call today. So do let us know. Let me see, a door prize for homeschool prom. Oh my God, I love that idea, Allison. There's so much that we can do with this. Charlotte says, I haven't created because of coming up with words. This is fabulous. Absolutely. Even people who more or less write for a living can sometimes have trouble coming up with words. And this is just such a fantastic way to give yourself a jumping off point. So I don't know, team, do you have any ideas to maybe share any insights with using a feature like this? Maybe to add on to anything that we've already talked about.
Yeah, did you show that blog post excerpt thing? Or that would be a nice one to show too, yeah.
Yeah, this is actually, this is a newer thing. So let's go look at blog posts here. And again, you can use this, and I think actually, I may have this may have been AI generated. Maybe. I think it is. I think we might have done something like this, but check it out. Auto summary right here. So once you create your blog post, you can ask AI to take what you've written already in your post and create a summary. So click here to create an automatic summary of your blog post, and you can add that to the excerpt section on your blogs. So we're going to give it just a second to summarize. And then once it's done, we'll be able to, again, you want to make some edits and modifications to it. Sometimes the summary that I find sometimes the summary that it creates is a little too much length and gives away too much. So you just take a look at it, read it up to the point where you know that somebody's going to want to click to see what else is there. And that's kind of the whole point of having an excerpt. So, so yeah, we'll give this a second. I actually haven't, well, it does have a lot of information in here. And I think it was definitely AI generated. Okay, while this is working, Cornelia says, I asked if it can write in German, and I asked it afterwards to write it in the informal form. Awesome. How do you insert a picture in the campaign? Okay, Bob, yeah, we can take a look at that here in just a second. So here is what the AI writer wrote. Okay, yeah, so we're going to say as a parent, Perfect. So this is what I want to use. I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. And then I'm going to close out of here. And that's where I'm going to actually go under advanced options. And that's going to be my excerpt. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want all of it. I didn't do that right. That was me. Okay, so I deleted what I didn't want. And now we have our excerpt here. And we can save that. Pretty cool. Okay. All right. So Bob, adding pictures to your campaign. So it depends on if you, it depends on the campaign, right? This is going to work slightly different if your campaign is supposed to be text-based versus email-based, but you have a number of ways to do this. So we'll just use this one as an example. This one is an email campaign. Here we go. So if we wanted to insert an image, you can, anywhere that you want the image to appear, simply place your cursor, click on the insert image right here, and then you can use an image that is already in your system by clicking here, or you can click on drop image. Sorry, dogs up here. You can go over here to drop image, and you can find something on your device that you can then add. Another thing, once you actually have an image that's included, here, let me just go ahead and find one that's in here. I'll just put this one in. You do have the option to format how it looks. So it can just be here in the center. You can align it to the left or the right. But then you also have the ability to go over here and put it in line so that it actually is alongside your text. Now, if this is a text-based campaign, then you can actually just add the images that would be sent out right here by going to add image. And you can add up to 10 images per message if you needed to send that many. I think most of the time you're not gonna need to, but that's certainly something that you get to do here. Thanks for that question. Let's see what else. I would like to create some YouTube descriptions. Do I need to refer to the transcript and paste it in, or can I use a YouTube link? Cornelia, that's a really good question. I would assume because these AI tools, they can't go and like actually read the internet. I think, I don't know how this works.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that it's going to necessarily be able, I mean, it might be able to go to a YouTube link. But I would go with the transcript, but I mean, just try it, see what it says. It'll tell you if it can't. It'll tell you like, I can't watch videos or something like that. If that's the case. But that's a really good idea. And that's where you would want to just use that Write with AI tool that's right inside your dashboard. Can you show how to add images side by side? So like in an email, Greg, is there a way to do that? To like place images side by, I mean, people receive email using different softwares and receive it on different devices. So if you're sending an email, you can hope for it to look a certain way when it reaches someone's inbox, but it's going to vary no matter what. But is there a side by side, and what's the best way to do that?
I mean, probably the best way if you have access to an editor is to combine the images in the editor and make one image, because then you know it's always going to look the same way. However, there is a way you can use the tables. I don't know if you have that open, or maybe
Here.
But there's the table feature. You could just pop an image in each table cell.
That's right.
If you wanted multiples, and then you could like size them up or make them 100% width with that expand full width button.
Yep, that's right.
I don't remember what button that's under, but yeah.
If we go right here, you can go to table. And so if maybe you want a side-by-side situation, you have two places that you can insert photos here. But I think the first thing that Greg said, like if you just really want these two images to like be side by side, it would be best to use some kind of an image editor to actually create an image that has the two side by side. That way, you know for certain, regardless of what device someone's on, it's going to show up that way. Let's see what else. Where can I find photos that are in campaigns imported from Modern Companion or Grow Workspace? Like if I'm creating a save reply and I want to use a photo from a campaign, but haven't saved it to my device and haven't done anything with it except that it was added with the import. So I don't believe that when you import content from a third-party provider, it doesn't add that media to your library. It'll add the campaign and the image will be in the campaign, but it doesn't add the media directly to your library. So if there are images from that campaign that you want to use, especially from like, I know this is true with Grow Workspace, I think it is for Modern Companion as well. But if you want to reuse the images, and of course you have permission to do so based on how you work with those providers, typically they actually have the image files available for you to download into your system. And you do have over here in this media manager of videos, images, and files, you can actually bulk upload those images. So if you have a bunch of images from Grow Workspace, for instance, that you know you want to use ongoing, you can go to images, you can add them, and that can be multiple. And of course, those can all be here in your system for your use. Another thing that you could do potentially is if you have a campaign message that you really like that came from one of those providers and you want to use it in another campaign, you do have that option in campaigns to add an existing message from another campaign to the one that you're working on. Just know that when you make modifications to that one, it does modify that message everywhere that you use it. let me show you where that is real quick. Here we go. Reuse existing message is this one right here. So if you have something that's somewhere else that you would like to use, then you would be able to pull that in right here. Really good question. Thank you for that. Okay, what else? Do we have any other, let me see, can you bulk upload images from a provider? Yes, absolutely, using that media manager. Let me see, can you give it my article and have it rewrite it? Yes, absolutely. Let me see, it would be interesting to, as for objections and then solutions for homeschool moms. Oh, how about that? That's an interesting idea. Let's go see what it does with that. Let's go get trained on objections by AI. Who knew that would be what we'd do today? I love this idea. All right. So what are some objections a homeschool mom might have to getting started with Young Living products today? Let's see what it asks us. And then we could ask it how we can address those objections. Oh my gosh. No, this is great. My husband has gone back to school to complete another degree, and in this field, actually, in this kind of technology. And he's currently in a class that does not have a very good teacher. And he's actually been using AI to teach him where the teacher is not doing so well in the class. And so this is actually kind of an example of what that looks like. So here we go. So we've got price, lack of knowledge, concerns about safety, time constraints. This is fantastic. So then what we can say is, I'm going to copy one of them. What are some ways to overcome this objection for a homeschool mom considering getting started with Young Living essential oils? Okay. And maybe it will give us some ideas. We'll see if they're any good. I mean, they're not a brand partner. They've not built a business, right? So it's not going to give you everything that you need, but you'd be surprised at the ideas that it can give you. So, oh, this is actually giving you a response. Understand your concern about cost, but when it comes to oils, quality is key. Seed to seal, wholesale member, 24% off retail. This is so good. This is so good. I would not copy and paste this into a conversation, but you can have the confidence of knowing that you can come up with ideas. So ask it questions. If you're in a bind and you're like, well, what would I say in this situation? Ask it. It might actually come up with a good idea for you. Oh, how fun is that?
That's pretty cool. I would suggest, like, fact checking some of it too, because sometimes AI can come up with a really confident answer that's completely wrong. I mean, I think that looked okay at first glance, but always check that first before you hand something out, just in case it picked up some old information on an old website that no longer applies. So, but yeah, I mean, that was pretty amazing there. Actually, I never thought of objections.
Yeah, I would maybe consider going more general with objection handling and not have it be Young Living specific. Although the system does know when you're asking it anything, it does know that you're a Young Living brand partner. And actually, this is something that I wanted to show you guys, because this is, I think, a pretty key example of why you want to read and check before you publish things. So I actually gave it a prompt the other day. Let me see. I gave it a prompt the other day. And I'll just go ahead and go somewhere in the neighborhood of what I asked it to do. So I said, right over here, write a blog post greater than 1,000 words from the perspective of a woman in her 40s who has overcome Hashimoto's and helps other women with similar diagnoses. Let's see, we'll see, of a woman health coach. Let me see, what else do we say? In the blog post, cover the correlation between lack of sleep and weight gain. Something like this. At the end of the article, encourage the reader to click to apply for a free consult with me. Okay, so we'll see what it says. When I did this before, it actually started, like it put in recommendations for Young Living products. And it brought up Young Living specifically. And I thought that that was really cool. And depending on what you're talking about, it could be totally fine for Young Living to be introduced in context. But because I'm literally talking about a diagnosis and a medical condition here, what it gave me the other day when I did this is 100% not something that you just want to take over to your GetOiling website and publish, right? So I want to kind of look at what it comes up with and talk through how we can make some modifications, provided it does come up with something that is non-compliant, because we obviously don't want you getting into any trouble here. So, okay, perfect. So we're getting into this, and it may or may not actually recommend products this time. Okay, no, this time it did not. Okay, so in the event that it does, and the subject matter that you're talking about is too risky where compliance is concerned, what I would encourage you to do is modify the language that mentions Young Living and Young Living products so as to say, you could maybe mention the word essential oils or, or natural products or something like that, but have it be, instead of talking about Young Living, you would say, I've done my research and have found a product line that I trust. And if you're interested in learning more about it, make sure that you schedule a call using the link below so that we can talk about what products might be best for you, right? So I would actually remove all mention of Young Living names if you are going this direction. I know there's a lot of us here who would be sharing our stories and details that could cross a line where compliance is concerned. So you want to, in all those cases, if that's how you're going about putting yourself out there and branding yourself, you just want to make sure that you aren't in any way providing any kind of link between Young Living products and dealing with conditions that are like diagnosed conditions, right? So make sure that you are clear on compliance. And of course, when in doubt, we did have a compliance training a while back. You can reference that, but reach out to compliance and get the actual word from the company directly. If you have any doubts or questions whatsoever about that. All right, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, there's another tip that comes to mind here. If you're looking for like headlines or whatever, or different, you can actually ask it for different variations. Like you probably don't want to do that, like make 3 blog posts for me, because that might take too long. But you could say something like, give me 3 different opening sentences for my blog, or that's probably actually not for the blog, but for like a landing page. I come up with 3 compelling headlines for my landing page about XYZ, or maybe a sub paragraph. So you can actually ask it to come up with different variations in and of itself. So you don't have to like copy and paste back and forth, like, okay, now take this one and come up with different variations. You can just ask for it right away, assuming the content isn't too long. There is a limit, I think, something like 6,000 characters, whatever, right around that point, I think is where it cuts off. It doesn't go beyond that at the moment. I'm sure that'll change over time as things change, because AI is relatively new. So you'd have to keep that limit in mind, but yeah, have it iterate right away. Then you can just look at it instead of having to copy and paste.
Yeah, another idea, and I think this goes back to a lot of the subject matter, especially in module 1 of the Marketing Mastery series, where we're talking about how we talk about ourselves. You could go to this tool and say, I help, and then insert your person, right? So I help homeschool moms with kids under 5 get this benefit, overcome this, do whatever. Write 5 different ways I can introduce myself and talk about what I do, right? And just have it give you some ideas. It'll give you the combinations of words. If anything, it's going to give you a jumping off point, but you may even find that you find something that is perfect for you, right? We can really, especially when we talk about ourselves, we can really get in our heads and miss the forest for the trees. And this is actually a really great way to address that. What else? Anybody have other ideas or challenges that maybe we can apply this tool to? Or, Colin, Julie, you guys got any ideas? Have you seen anything particularly interesting or cool using AI? I know, Colin, like you're coding and stuff, like AI can write code. I don't know that that's something we're going to be spitting out here.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, my use case for this stuff is a little different. I'm not really going like, writing a lot of Young Living heavy content, but yes, to your point, it does take code snippets quite well. It can debug those sorts of things, but obviously we're not going to be really needing to talk about that here. One thing that I have been using it for lately that's been pretty helpful is when I write emails back to folks now. I'm not sure if you may have been paying attention, but the emails that I've written previously to ChatGPT being out are kind of like a stream of consciousness. I'm okay with words, but as you can see, I'm not great. So what I would do is I'll write out full ideas of emails, and I'll take that into ChatGPT, and I'll be like, can you reword this and summarize it a little bit better so it's more easily understood? I'll ask it to speak, professionally and politely and friendly, and like prompt it with all of these things, and it spits out a much better version of what I was trying to get out. So it's been really, really helpful for that. And I've been finding that my emails that get returned back are being received a little bit better. So you could try using that if you're using it in your day-to-day. But yeah, generally speaking, my use cases are going to be for that, redoing some help articles for you guys, and then coding stuff, which if anybody's doing coding stuff, I've got a lot to talk about in that area. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm using it for.
Fantastic. Let me see. We've got Jackie had her About Me page rewritten. Awesome. It is
Allison
a starting
had
point.
An idea. Yeah, Allison had an idea up here a little bit back in the chat. She asked it to take her half-written blog post drafts and have it redo and lengthen them, sort of like finish it off. Like, here's my idea, and okay, finish my thought. That's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Something that I should probably mention, it may have been mentioned, I apologize if it was. AI is up to date up until September 2021. So if there's any information that you're trying to be more up to date and relevant, it won't know about it. So I don't know, again, I wasn't sure if that was said already, but it should probably be put in place because it's not up to date yet. I'm sure with GPT-5, I think they're going to try and push that forward, but we'll see what happens with, there might be some brakes being pumped on AI lately. So we'll see what happens with moderating it now. It's a fun world we're in.
Oh yeah, it's a brand new one.
Yeah.
There's so much you could do with this. And this may be something that you guys already know, but I think that it bears repeating. Please never, ever, 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 ever put personal information or maybe specifically proprietary information into AI ever, period. Even the best of the best coders don't know how to retrieve the information that goes in once it's in. Right? You can't take it out. Once it's in AI, you can't take it out. So be mindful of that. And like Colin said, this isn't always up to date. Like of the moment, but most of us aren't writing news articles. So, we're talking about general concepts and providing a baseline for us to really use to infuse our own perspective and expertise, which is what you're supposed to be doing with your content anyway. Dr. Brown has used this to edit posts, to create a class outline, generate research ideas, find examples. That's fantastic. Charlotte is writing blog and website and about teaching dyslexic kids to read. Oh, that's awesome. Maybe use it to complete a book I haven't finished. Yes, Paula. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Oh, how cool. And there's a growing body of content out there now. Specifically, if you want to get out there in the world and research ChatGPT prompts, maybe ChatGPT prompts for specific niches and verticals, you can look those up. And of course, this is a tool, and just because you own a drill doesn't mean you can, redo your bathroom, right? We have to learn how to use the tools that we have. So definitely, I would definitely spend a little bit of time both using this yourself because it's super low consequence, and then also getting some ideas from others that are using this in ways that you aren't. so that you can build some fluency with it, because this is not something that's going away. And it's something that if you can just use, like if you can get used to using it, even just a little bit, it can make such a tremendous improvement in how you spend your time. Just hope my high school and college sons don't use AI for papers. Well, the good news, Allison, is that the technology to detect AI is evolving right alongside AI. So all the more reason to only use this as a framework and not as a 100% finished product type of thing. That's both true for your SEO in the future, I believe. I obviously don't know for certain with any authority that using AI is going to impact whether or not your content ranks in the search engines. But I don't know. I suspect that it might one day. So make it your own, right? Just make it sound like you. Let's see. Yeah, now you can actually play around with this without having to go and sign into ChatGPT and wondering if it's available. Tina says, I wonder if it would share testimonials. You know, it maybe not. If it was to share testimonials, it would be reading websites, which is something that it says that it doesn't do. So I don't know how they would be able to access that. Let me see. Your progressive educators are teaching students how to use it effectively. Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Brown. Absolutely. I think everybody needs to start learning how to use this effectively. So many great questions. And thank you guys for sharing. If there's anything that you are planning to use this for, maybe pop it into the chat. What's your next project? What are you going to tackle now that you haven't gotten done already, now that you have this tool at your disposal? What do you think is going to look different for you in how you work on a weekly basis? You know, one of the ways that I think I shared in our previous GPT training were how you could go about creating your monthly newsletter, right? We're actually going to GPT and providing, you know, hey, here are the Young Living products that are, you know, in this month's gift with purchase. Write a paragraph about each of these products and why, you know, a homeschool mom in her 30s might want one or want these to add it to their order. And so you could actually do that from directly inside your GetOiling account now. It says everything, everything. Here it's just adding one more thing rather than being a time saver. Can't think of exactly how to say something. Yeah, I think that it is, let me see, adding one, sorry, the chat is just moving so fast here. I think that done is better than perfect, Allison. And if you can just make that your mantra and paste it like maybe on the wall above wherever you do your work, I think that you will find that this will save you a ton of time. And it's one more thing that can actually take a lot more things off your plate, because figuring out what to say is often the most difficult thing for most of us in this work. And so it gives you a place to start. Let's see. Amber says, this is going to help me so much to not feel stuck because I can't think of exactly how to say something. Let me see. Yes, just to get moving, help you lengthen your ideas from just a thought. Yes, absolutely. This will give you the opportunity to expand and create more depth for sure. Okay, well, fantastic. Well, let's keep this conversation going. Maybe move it over to our Facebook group. Join us there if you aren't there already, and talk about what you're coming up with AI in your system this week. So we look forward to having you guys on our training again next week, of course, in our Facebook group in the meantime. And we're just so grateful that you are here in this community being amazing. Hope you guys are getting tickets to convention. I'll be there at Aroma Sharing. So Julie too. Awesome. So we're going to have a girls' party at the table. So come join us. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great week, everybody.